Welcome, Bitcoin fam, to the #1 Bitcoin pod, and happy TGIF. Bitcoin currently correcting down another 2,300 on the day, maintaining just above 65,000 at the time of the live. I'll be breaking down the latest TA, what's happening in the market. We'll also discuss crypto analyst says Bitcoin selling pressure is nearly exhausted. I'll be giving you the latest update from onchain analysts. Willie Woo. We'll also be discussing South Korea's tax office leaks wallet seed, losing 4.8 million and seized tokens. That's right. You can't just have photos of your recovery seed in a document. Someone's going to steal it, but South Korea learns the hard way. We'll also discuss spot Bitcoin ETFs taking $1 billion in 3 days as investors continue to buy that dip. Also, Bitcoin's 100 Bitcoin Club edges towards 20,000 wallets, which is a bullish sign. It means accumulation is maintaining. We'll also discuss big news. Trump media targets Jane Street. Wall Street giant hit with naked short selling bombshell. I'll be giving you the latest with this bombshell report. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more right here in today's show. Today is pod episode 2265. I'm your host, JV, and ironic enough, we're trading at 65.5 at the time of the live, alongside the Fed Chair Nip, keeping them nipping. Happy TGIF. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do every day, pulling up Coin 360. As you can see, Bitcoin barely in the green at the moment. Ether barely in the green. Solana barely in the green. XRP, Tron, Cardano all correcting and in the red. Checking out coinmarketcap.com. Current crypto market cap did decline roughly 2% on the day, sitting back down at 2.28 trillion. Bitcoin market cap is 1.311 trillion. You got to love those 11 omens. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got Decred leading the pack, up 8%, followed by Chili's up 5% and Polkadot up 4%. Checking out the crypto greed and fear index. We did rise just a little bit. Today's a 13 in extreme fear. Yesterday was an 11. Last week a 5, and we did bottom out at a 5. So last week was a 7, but we did bottom at a 5, which is the current low for the entire cycle, a level we ain't seen since 2022. Last month was a 29 in fear. Checking out the infamous time chain calendar, today's block height, 938,621, and you could exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,525 sats, which means you pick up the sats at a discount, you put down those gats and pick up some Bitcoin caps already from my homie, Sergio, over at bitcoincaps.net. All right. Now for some live chart action, Jackson. Satisfaction. Here right now, you're looking at a 1-hour chart. You'll notice today we had a lot of descending candles in the red, and then we started trading sideways, going down, and now we're recovering. You'll see the most two recent printed candles on the hourly are in the green, as we're currently sitting at around 65.6 at the time of the live. Checking out the 4-hour, you also notice we had a nice run up, and then we started correcting right back down. Bitcoin did touch 70,000 just the other day. We had a nice run from like 63 to 70. That was actually 2 days ago. And then yesterday was corrective, and today we're still barely in the red, but looking to recover, get a little relief rally. We'll see where it takes us. Obviously, we have Saturday and Sunday right around the corner. Traditional markets closed, but Bitcoin can do whatever it wants to do. Checking out the daily, you also notice a red candle on the day, pretty significant. Yesterday was itty bitty red corrective, and the day before that we had the nice relief rally to 70 Gs, and then we corrected shortly after. Unfortunately, it did not hold, and that's kind of been what we've been witnessing often since Q4. Every time Bitcoin makes a move, we instantly draw right back down. And the past 30 days, we're down roughly 30,000. We were like 90 Gs just in January. And in October, we were at the all-time high of 126. So in a very short period of time, we lost a lot of price action and a lot of speculation, and a lot of evidence is pointing to manipulation on the market, which is going to be one of our topics of conversation we're going to dive deeper into today with Jane Street, the $40 billion lawsuit, and all that stuff. So stay tuned. But looking at the charts on the weekly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red consecutive candles, pure corrections. When will this turn around? Will things change in March? Let me know your thoughts, because Sunday, we're actually March 1st. Checking out the monthly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also very similar to the weekly, just correction after correction month, 6 months of pure bear. So, a lot of the experts say this is the winter we're in right now. Let me know your thoughts of where the price action will take us this month. When will we recover back above the current all-time high and, regain exposure to price discovery? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll read those comments. But let's dive a little deeper. I don't believe Bitcoin will go to 30,000, but the headline is suggesting Bitcoin at 30 Gs. Analysts debate when at what price Bitcoin will bottom. The current bottom that we hit like last week was 59.9. We can round and say 60. Let me know if you think 60 is the bottom or we're likely to go lower. According to multiple analysts, Bitcoin could extend its downtrend, possibly reaching a low of 30 to 45. I think 45 to 55 is a more realistic bear scenario, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts. The shortest bear market lasted 365 days, and Bitcoin's currently about 140 days deep into the current bear market. We are going much lower, just a matter of time. Crypto Quant pointed out, historically, the sweet spot clusters around September, November, which means when we turn this all around, not till the end of the year, they're suggesting. Bottoms take time. If this cycle mirrors past structures from April 19, 2024, we had the 2012 trace, which lasted 777 days till June 4, 2026. Then we had the 2016 trace, which lasted 889 days. And the September 2026, we had 925 day from 2020. So that puts the broader timing window into June, December of 2026. Historically, the sweet spot clusters around September, November, as pointed out here in the chart by Crypto Quant. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Another analyst by the name of Batman. Batman. Why don't he change the name to Satman? It sounds sexier. But he says Bitcoin current all-time high is over 126. Yes, we reached that. I believe it was October 6th. If I recall, 126.3. So, but they say October 2nd, close enough. So whatever the price we get by then, I think it's fair to say it'll be a no-brainer buy. I think it's a no-brainer right now. It's a BOGO. Buy one, get one, 2 for 1. Take advantage of it. Overlaying the context downward of the price action for the period on the current chart. This aligns with a 70 to 75% drawdown range projected for the fifth cycle. And when I hear, the fifth halving cycle here, we've already corrected almost 60 or in the 60% range. So what's another 10, 15% to go lower? We've seen corrections maybe as much as 90%. And in fact, Bitcoin's only retraced over 50%, I think 8 or 9 times in its historic lifespan since 2009 from the Genesis block. This suggests the Bitcoin could drop further from the current levels, possibly bottoming between 31 and 38 6 months from now. Like I said, I'm not a firm believer that happens, but we got to keep that possibility, that timeline open, because there's no telling what the constipated Miss Yellen. Now, this shows you the fifth cycle data estimates. You can see from the first to the fifth. This is the historic trend. The first halving, we had a 93% drawdown. Second halving, 86%. Third halving, 84%. Fourth halving, 77%. And so they're estimating the fifth halving pullback can be another 70 to 75%, which can logically happen. So you must keep that in mind. Another on-chain college shared a chart showing Bitcoin broke below long-term hodler, true cost basis of 65.7 and needed to reclaim for support. Historically, history shows suggesting Bitcoin is due for a trip to 42 or even potentially lower. So again, a lot of the top analysts are mostly saying expect things to get worse before they get better. But let me know your thoughts as the Bitcoin supply on the exchanges keeps rising. So more and more people are selling until the reserve turns lower and breaks back below the 2.7 million Bitcoin. Yeah, so it's actually at a high there. Structural selling pressure remains intact. The key trigger for a regime change is a sustained decline in the reserves below the January lows. And this chart shows you the Bitcoin exchange reserves on all the exchanges. And there you have it. Let me know your thoughts again regarding the bottom. How much longer do you think this, downwards action maintains intact, considering it's been 6 months of pure bear? Or do you think we get a quick, swift reversal anytime soon? Let me know. And then we'll dive deeper with Bitcoin selling pressure nearly exhausted. I'll give you some different sentiment as well as the latest from onchain analyst Willie Woo, and then into some of the other big headlines amongst us. Jane Street needs a good class action lawsuit. SBF started at the Jane Street along with the Ellison with the Grippy from Mississippi. The depth of the cesspool will never be tested. Historically, the Bitcoin performed a 0.786, approximately 80% retrace from the all-time high. So if history rhymes and repeats, that puts Bitcoin below 50. Brace yourself for more severe weather pirates. I hope I'm wrong. Reversal after Iran gets bombed. And wash out all the derivative paper Bitcoin that never hits the blockchain. Read off net manipulation. Back in early the Unix days, BSD, Berkeley software distribution, open source lead to the lies of the Apple, Android, most other smartphones. Highly recommend buying more now in this range, says Bub. Trump needs to castrate the Jane Street. You're preaching to the choir here. And that's going to be our main topic of conversation, the Trumpster versus the Jane Street. Stay tuned. But anyways, let's dive deeper. Crypto analyst says Bitcoin selling pressure nearly exhausted. But I'm actually going to start with this post from Willie Woo. This bearish sell down by investors seems to have exhausted, which gives price a reprieve to consolidate sideways for maybe a month. Even a rebound to the mid 70s would likely be rejected. This is because the broader regime is heavily bearish with both the spot and the futures liquidity deteriorating. I've never seen Bitcoin rally when both sources of liquidity are bearish. If I was to make an educated guess, I'd say Q4 would be good timing for the end of the bearish trend, and Q1 or Q2 of 2027 for the bullish momentum to return. So he's saying don't expect any fucking bullish momentum for another year, you know. Also, 45,000 would be a typical bear market bottom. He's calling it right there. Willie Woo, very smart man, on-chain analyst. He says, Bitcoin has only ever existed in a secular global macro bull market from 2009 to 2026. If global macro breaks down, 30,000 is the fallback level of the support. 16,000 is the final line to maintain the Bitcoin bull trend. And I'll dive a little deeper into this article here, but let me know your thoughts on what Willie Woo just shared, and if you agree or disagree. Things can get much worse if the global macro conditions deteriorate. Bitcoin has only ever existed in a secular global bull market, as he referenced, from 2009, since the inception of the Genesis block till now. 16,000 could be the final level needed to maintain the long-term bull. Personally, I don't think we retrace that low, but again, there's no telling with the constipated Miss Yellen. Bananas. Also, Matt Hoogan echoed the sentiment on Thursday, saying of various recent conspiracies regarding the market action. The real reason Bitcoin is down is a bunch of people who were long Bitcoin sold their Bitcoin exposure. They sold because the 4-year cycle, quantum fears. Personally, I don't think people are selling due to the quantum fears, but that's what they're saying. And a shift towards the AI startups, amongst other reasons. He says they are mostly done selling, and we're in the process of the bottoming. We will set a new all-time high in the future. This is a classic crypto winter, and there will be a classic crypto spring. So brace yourself for more sideways trading action in the months ahead as Bitcoin continues to consolidate. That's the sentiment in the market. Quoting another analyst, we're likely looking at a prolonged consolidation phase within a wide structural range as the market takes 3 to 6 months to repair. The sentiment reminiscent of the sideways action we saw back with Luna, referencing the 2022 bear. So let me know if you agree, disagree. 6 more months of sideways trading action before any form of stage of recovery, maybe not till Q4. Let me know. Next up, South Korea's tax office leaks wallet seed and loses 5 million in seized token. South Korea keeps fumbling the bag. This is crazy. South Korea's National Tax Service accidentally exposed a crypto wallet seed phrase in an official press release on Thursday. Talk about retarded. Leading to the loss of 4 million PRTG tokens worth roughly 5 million USD from the address. According to the multiple Korean media reports, the press release related to the National Tax Service enforcement campaign against the tax delinquents and seizures that the authorities carried out. The release reportedly included an image of a Ledger cold wallet and a sheet of paper showing the wallet's full recovery phrase without any blur or masking. Again, you can't make this shit up. So imagine being as stupid to take a picture of your recovery phrase and then releasing it in a public document, thinking nope, not they clearly don't understand crypto, obviously. But yeah, pretty wild. Blockchain researchers identified the Ether address linked to the leaked phrase that briefly held 4 million of the tokens before the entire balance was transferred out. On-chain data for the address shows 3 inbound transfers totaling 4 million, followed by a single outbound transfer sending exactly 4 million to another wallet, consistent with the reports. Associate professor who analyzed the flows said, "We have confirmed that the 4 million tokens worth 5 million were stolen and that the recovery seed that was leaked through a press release." I mean, that's a massive fumble there. Crypto custody failures test the Korean authorities. Maybe it's a test, right? The incident comes as South Korean authorities face another crypto scandal. A separate case, police discovered February 2026, 22 Bitcoin seized in a 2021 hacking investigation vanished. So it's like, who the fuck can you trust when there's multiple people involved in an investigation and it involves crypto and recovery phrases? It's like, holy shit. 2 suspects were arrested Thursday after investigators found the coins had been moved using the phrase that the police had never controlled. Separately, regulators under pressure, and that's another South Korea fucking, their exchange Bithumb. I think this was paper Bitcoin that never existed, but they allegedly sent out 620,000 Bitcoin worth $43 billion to their customers, and it was just an error. And they allegedly recovered most of it. But like I said, South Korea continues to fumble when it comes to crypto. Good Lord. Next story, spot Bitcoin ETFs taking $1 billion in 3 days as investors buy the dip. That's right. A spot Bitcoin ETFs pulled in more than $1 billion of net inflows over 3 trading sessions. And excuse me, I do got the hiccup. So if you recognize an unusual pause between sentences, now you know why. A reversal that came even as Bitcoin remained well below its peak. The U.S. listed spot Bitcoin ETFs logged in a combined $1 billion of inflows from Tuesday to Thursday. Not too shabby. The funds pulled in $500 million just on Wednesday. That was obviously the day we had the massive pump from, I think it was from 62, 63 to 70,000. And again, it's just another clear example that the price action, it's like a mirror to the inflows or outflows of the ETFs. When the institutions are dumping, the price is dumping. And when we're getting massive inflows, the price reacts accordingly. Another example. Nate Gerasi said, investors appear to be buying the dip amid the downturn. He said the spot Bitcoin ETFs seen $6.5 billion of outflows since Bitcoin's record high in October, which directly reflects on why we've been on a 6-month downtrend, crashing fucking 60%. 50% drawdowns are a walk in the park for the long time. Bitcoin investors, he wrote, but appears the newer ETF investors aren't worried either. Flows reverse multi-week outflow streak. Also, analysts flag ETF flows as the sentiment engaged. The inflows come as the market participants discuss whether the recent selling pressure is easing. Friday, several analysts said Bitcoin roughly 50% drawdown may be approaching exhaustion, as we referenced with Willie Woo earlier. Also, analyst Jeff Koh said the spot ETF flows suggest aggressive selling pressure may be fading. However, he said a sudden V-shaped recovery is unlikely after a steep decline. Then BitTrue research lead pointed out to oversold technical indicators, said that the sustained ETF inflows can serve as a catalyst for stabilization. So let me know if you agree, disagree. Next headline, Bitcoin's 100 Bitcoin Club edges towards 20,000 wallets in a bullish sign. That's right. How many of you in the chat have 100 Bitcoin or more? Never reveal. Remember that. Bitcoin's on the verge of surpassing 20,000 wallets with at least 100 of the biddy, an indicator that could signal healthy market dynamics, according to Santiment. As of Thursday, so as of yesterday, there's literally 19,993 wallets holding 100 Bitcoin or more, worth roughly $6 million per wallet at this time. Santiment anticipates the milestone could be reached by Friday. So they say if the number of 100 plus Bitcoin wallets is growing, that suggests distribution across more large holders rather than a small group of controlling everything. It also said it's an important signal for the Bitcoiners as it reduces the perceived risks that a small number of the whales can significantly swing the prices. So in that sense, it points to the less extreme consolidation at the very top. The trend also hints at a rise in confidence in the turnaround of Bitcoin, which is down now roughly 50% from the all-time high, currently trading around the 67, actually now closer to 65 level at the time of the live. Santiment explained the increase in the number of the large wallet holders after the Bitcoin price drop can be a bullish signal. However, it noted the overall percentage of supply held by this cohort hasn't changed, suggesting while the new wallets are reaching 100 Bitcoin, some long-term hodlers are likely selling. This is why prices have stayed suppressed. So are the Bitcoin OGs done selling aggressively for now? Fears that the long-term hodlers are selling have been ramping up over the past 3 months and are widely seen as the key catalyst for the recent pullback. On-chain analyst William Clemente said it seems like the Bitcoin OGs are done selling aggressively right now. And Macau Bande Pop said on Thursday, Bitcoin must find the higher low and will continue the trend upward. So far, so good for the BTC. And there you go, yo. Now for our feature story of the day, Trump media targets Jane Street. Wall Street giant hit with the naked short selling bombshell. We did a deep dive on this topic of conversation yesterday, but it wasn't involving Trump going after Jane Street. So I want to take it to the next step and dive deeper here for today's pod. But first, I'm going to start here from Marty Party. Breaking: Trump media accusing Jane Street, amongst others, of naked short selling in a letter to Congress. Trump media called for a full investigation into Jane Street, Citadel, and others. Now Jane Street is facing a second lawsuit over claims it wiped out over $40 billion in value. And here's the evidence right here. And Max also chimed in. First, I'll read you this post from Money Ape. Trump versus Jane Street now. Trump media accuses Jane Street of naked short selling in a letter to Congress. The company called for investigation into Jane Street, Citadel, and others. Also, Jane Street is accused of the Terra Luna crash of $40 billion wipeout. And this is Max Kaiser's response right here. Naked short selling, which is selling non-existent shares and or future contracts to suppress the price and abuse the reg show, has been an insider's privilege. It is illegal, but enforcement has been absent. Will the Trump finally clean this mess up? That's the question here. Now let's dive deeper. Jane Street, one of Wall Street's most influential trading firms, and that's where Bankman-Fried comes out of. Caroline Ellison and a lot of other corrupt folks has suddenly found itself pulled into a political legal storm that stretches from crypto markets to Capitol Hill. The firm, widely known for the dominance in the ETFs and high-speed trading strategies, now facing pressure from multiple directions. At the center of the latest controversy is Trump, which is reportedly urging lawmakers to take a closer look at the trading practices of the Jane Street and other major firms. While no regulator has reportedly or formally accused the firm of wrongdoing, the combination of the lawsuits, the political noise, and the viral claims have placed Jane Street under an uncomfortable spotlight. Let's not forget also, they started deleting all of their fucking tweets. I think they're all gone. That's obviously something a guilty person would do, but we're all innocent until proven guilty, right? Now, the newest flashpoint involves allegations of naked short selling. According to the market chatter circulating this week, Trump media has sent a letter to members of Congress requesting an investigation into Jane Street, Citadel, and the other major trading firms. Might as well include BlackRock in there. The concern revolves around whether the shares were sold short without first being properly borrowed. Under U.S. security rules, naked short selling is restricted because it increases the apparent supply of the shares, potentially weighing on the stock price in an artificial way. Supporters of the investigation argue that if such practices occurred, they would have placed abnormal pressure on certain stocks. And as of Thursday afternoon, neither Trump nor Jane Street publicly confirmed the details for the letter, but Citadel had also not issued a statement yet. If Congress chooses to step in, which we pray they do, but I'm fucking skeptical for some reason, the situation could quickly turn into a broader political fight over transparency, market structure, and the power of high-frequency trading firms and modern finance. Separate from the political tension, Jane Street is also dealing with a federal lawsuit, a $40 billion one, tied to the collapse of Terraform Labs in 2022. And if you missed yesterday's episode, check it out. We did a deep dive into this. The complaint filed February 23rd at the U.S. District Court of the Southern District in New York accuses the firm of using confidential info obtained through its relationship with Terraform Labs to protect itself before the Terra Luna ecosystem unraveled. Insider job. That crash erased $40 billion in market value overnight. The lawsuit claims Jane Street managed to sidestep more than $200 million in losses. Jane Street has pushed back strongly, calling the lawsuit just an attempt to extract money and dismissing the claims as baseless. Well, naturally, that's what they're going to say, right? Or their lawyers. The case has not reached any final conclusion. because it takes fucking years to get a conclusion in court. And no court has determined liability. Still, the timing has revived questions about how deeply sophisticated trading firms were positioned during one of crypto's most devastating collapses. So do you think it'll be a nothing burger and Jane Street just gets a little slap on the wrist? Or do you think the $40 billion lawsuit will prevail and they will find them guilty of manipulating the markets and doing the naked short selling, you know? And again, if you want to deep dive into how this all works, yesterday I spent 10 minutes on it. We did a very deep dive from Justin Belcher post, which broke it all down and how the manipulation worked, the 10 a.m. Selling before the markets opened up, ultimately manipulating the price downwards, which has been ongoing for a very long time and could be one of the main causes of the price suppression we've been witnessing in the recent months, as well as dating back all the way to 2022 with the Terra Luna collapse. And ironic, a person that was working for Terra Luna started working for, like an insider, started working for Jane Street, so they knew the ins and outs and how to tank, and depeg their algorithmic stablecoin from the dollar, which started the collapse of the 2022 winter. So this is most likely all engineered, which leads me to believe Bitcoin would have ran up to much higher price discovery levels if that type of manipulation wasn't occurring, and even more recently as well. Just in October, we hit 126. Who's to say we couldn't have kept climbing in price discovery for more months, potentially reaching 150, 200, 222. Mr. Magoo, what'd it do? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll entertain your comments. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the stream. I'm going to stick around for an hour. We'll shoot the shit. Trump had an agency independent like the Federal Reserve called the Securities Exchange Commission. Good luck, Gary. True money for the BTC. You the best, JV. Cheers, Jimbo. Put them out of business. Trump betrayed us. He is in trouble with us. He has no choice but to go after the Jane Street to keep our votes. Yes, he will go for it. Sounds good, Tammy. Here's the thing. Nobody knows how it works other than them. Jane Street, Epstein, whatever. It's all happening since the dawn of man. 222 was prolonged. We're getting closer to the bottom, as Chandy prophesies. That's the silver lining. You feel me? And if you're watching on the YouTube right now, I strongly encourage you to visit the Rumble. The direct link is bitcoinnewsalerts.net for the full uncensored episode and to participate in the live Q&A.